how it unfolded for me is the work I have always done has been about connecting people with their shadow stories. It's always been about going deep into the wounds and into the pain. And I came to this coaching work with that energy. I didn't really have a strong vision. I just knew life was calling me. And somewhere in the last 7 to 8 years, it kept shifting and clarifying itself. I wasn't always privy to what was coming. I didn't always know. I spent lots of dark times, down times, unclear, unsure. My life fell apart in multiple ways. People fell away, money fell away, jobs fell away. I went through dark night of the soul 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in my life in this deep spiritual search that I needed to be on to live my truth. Partly because I'm a very resistant, stubborn being, but also because I walk the road less traveled. I'm very much about not identifying with my race, with my gender, with my parenting, or as a mother, or as an age, or as a weight, or as a name. I want to know who I really am without all of that. That was the search, so it took me deep. And as I did the coaching, things started to unfold, and I started to offer this course called the Awakening Program. And I still offer it, but it kind of is falling into the background because something was saying, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. The Awakening Program is good, but it's not quite it. And so I listened, I kept listening, I kept surrendering in those moments of confusion and doubt. And over time, this vision began to be birthed in me. And the vision was for this thing called the path of the open heart. And it came very, very vaguely at first. I had an insight into 1 or 2 of the elements, and it didn't really make any sense to me, but I trusted, and I started to use this information about radical awareness and radical forgiveness. I didn't really know what they meant. I just knew they were important, and that I'd heard other teachers use them, and I didn't know why I was being given them. And over time, they started to emerge into conscious intention and undefendedness, and the very first element, the surrendering energy, which I call profound love. And it's called the surrendering energy because what it does is it permeates whoever's in contact with it and roots out within them everything that is unloving, everything that does not know who or what it is, truly. And so that energy worked in my life. And the path of the open heart began to be birthed as all my identifications began to fall away. And I'd opened up more and more to cosmic energies, subtler realms, to the point where the floor would start to bend and warp. And I'd sit and I'd go, Jesus, this is just disturbing. This is worrying me. But I was just being opened up. And, life was beginning to tell me that energy is a language and everything else is just noise. And tune into the energy and the energy will guide you. So I'm saying all this because for any of you who are there, who are still vague or still a bit confused or still feel like you haven't got the clarity you want or you're not sure how it's going, there's a reason for that. Something's being birthed. Something magnificent is coming through, and your work will continue to evolve. It will continue to grow. So as I began to embrace the path of the open heart, the next thing I heard was core wounds. And I said, oh, core wounds, that's important. I didn't really know what was meant by that. And then I came to understand that the shadow and the over-identification was linked to people believing that they were their stories, their pain, their suffering. And if I could enter those core wounds and speak with them directly through this mixture of body dialogue, intuition, visioning, feeling, sensing, and through my own experience, I could help them to unlock in ways that didn't have to poke at the pain. I didn't have to listen to hours of their stories. I didn't have to know what mum and dad did to them, or I didn't need to know any of that. I just needed to connect with them. And so connecting with the wound came because I connected with my wounds. I went to each and every wound inside of me, and I had many, 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 many. I came from a place of self-loathing. Total self-loathing. So I had a lot of work to do. And as I did that work, I began to perceive and see other people's wounds. I could see the reflection. I could see when they were lying to themselves. I can see and hear in the tone of their voices where they weren't honoring themselves, where they were believing in their smallness. So these things unfold in us.